No one stopped. Not one car. Not one human being. The rain kept falling, and the child kept waiting, until one man did something that would ruin his night and save a life forever. The night was merciless. Rain wasn't just falling. It was striking, slamming against the pavements like 1,000 tiny fists. Most people had already surrendered to the comfort of their homes, leaving streets empty and dark. Yet, in the shadow of the city's glowing windows, someone sat alone, shivering, unnoticed. A small figure, soaked through, clutched a tattered blanket. Their eyes scanned the empty streets, searching, hoping, praying that someone, anyone, would see them. The world had learned to ignore them. The cold had learned to bite harder than any human ever could. Then he appeared. Not a passerby, not someone indifferent. A man, dressed in a coat that gleamed even under the streetlights, slowed his steps. Something in his gaze was different. Not pity, not judgment, but recognition. Recognition that the little spark of life in the corner deserved to be seen. He knelt, not because he had to, but because humanity demanded it. His voice was gentle, calm, yet carried an unexpected power. Words weren't enough, but they mattered. And when the figure looked up, there was a flicker of hope, small, fragile, but alive. The city, deaf and hurried, didn't notice. But this small act, this tiny choice, was the start of something immense. A reminder that even in darkness, one human could reignite light in another. Then, footsteps. Not ordinary ones. They were fast. They were deliberate. Danger, unannounced, had entered the scene. The man's heart skipped a beat. He knew that extending humanity wasn't always safe. Yet, he didn't step back, because doing nothing was never an option. A tense silence fell. The rain seemed louder now, mixing with the pounding of their hearts. And in that fleeting moment, the two of them understood a truth. True humanity isn't measured by wealth, comfort, or status. It's measured by courage to act even when everything around you screams to turn away. But before they could move, the approaching figure revealed itself. Shadows stretched unnaturally. The air froze. And in a heartbeat, the night promised a choice that could change everything. The shadow moved closer, and the man instinctively stepped between it and the small figure. Rain drenched them both, but fear was heavier than the cold. The figure in the darkness paused, then stepped forward, revealing a young boy, not older than 12, soaked and trembling, but eyes full of defiance. "You shouldn't be out here alone," the man said, his voice firm yet gentle. "It's dangerous." The boy's lips quivered. I have nowhere to go." In that instant, the man saw the truth. This wasn't just a child. It was a story repeated 1,000 times across the city, people forgotten, ignored, invisible. Yet tonight, he refused to let this one fade into the darkness. He offered his hand. The boy hesitated, glancing at the wet streets, the empty alleyways. But something in the man's eyes, a spark of pure humanity, convinced him. Slowly, carefully, he reached out. Their hands met, a small, unspoken promise forming in the rain. But the city was not done testing them. From the shadows, a figure appeared, aggressive, impatient, demanding. "Move aside," it hissed. The man didn't budge. Humanity, he realized, often required courage bigger than fear, bigger than himself. The boy squeezed his hand tighter. Together, they stepped forward, navigating the slippery streets. The lights of a small, open cafe flickered ahead, a haven in the storm. Inside, warmth, food, and safety awaited. Yet even as they approached, the man knew this was only the beginning. One act of kindness could ripple into countless lives, but danger and indifference would always lurk nearby. He knelt to the boy's level. "You're not invisible," he whispered. "You matter. And tonight, someone saw you. That's the first step." The boy's eyes glistened with tears, but this time they were tears of hope. Hope born not from magic or miracles, but from a simple, undeniable truth. Even in the darkest night, humanity could still shine. And as the rain finally eased, washing the city clean, the man and the boy walked into the light, leaving the shadows behind. Their journey was far from over, but tonight proved something important. One courageous act, one choice to see and help another human being could change more than one life. Sometimes, saving someone else saves a part of yourself you didn't know was lost. The city, once cold and indifferent, had witnessed a small miracle, not in headlines, not in tweets, but in hearts. Because humanity, in its purest form, isn't measured by fame, wealth, or recognition. It's measured by the courage to care when it's hardest and to act when no one else will. The rain stopped, the night softened, and in that quiet, unassuming moment, something extraordinary happened. Two lives, connected by compassion, prove that even in a world full of darkness, humanity can still shine brighter than the storm.